I know the lighting in this video is not the best, but this is what we're dealing with. I had surgery like 3 days ago, so this is as good as it's gonna get. Hello everybody. So as you can tell by the title, I did have my breast reduction surgery. I'm going to insert some photos throughout this video so you can see better, because my sweater right now is very loose, so you probably can't even really tell. I feel like my boobs are like literally up here because they used to be like down here. So anyways, so I had my surgery on November 27th, so that was Wednesday, and today is Saturday night. About 4 days post-op. I wanted to film this now because I wanted to talk about like the surgery day, my first few days of recovery, like everything, all the details with that. And then closer to Christmas time, I'm gonna do a big Q&A and talk about like my bra size, just more details on clothing and all that sort of stuff, just because right now I don't really know my size. I'm like super swollen and just like all wrapped up in plastic wrap right now. That's gonna come later, so if you have any questions, I'm gonna post an Instagram Q&A probably in about a month, and then I'll answer any questions down below. So if anything comes up that I don't cover, let me know. So I got about 70% taken off, I think, and the surgery was an hour and a half. Today was the first day I actually could like get up and go outside and things. So this is the first day I've tried on some of my clothes, and it just feels so weird. Like I feel like I'm in someone else's body right now. It's just like the weirdest feeling. I think because I was lifted so dramatically. I'm gonna insert a picture here. So as you can see, there's a bit of a lift, but yeah, it's just like actually the craziest thing. I was about a G cup, so it goes like triple D and E and then F G. Yeah, it was like really big. I think I was about a G cup. So I think now I'm closer to like D or double D, which is like crazy amount of like they took so much off and pretty much like lifted it up. So having like the top half of my stomach feels so odd, and it just feels so weird because usually, obviously when you're that size and they're that heavy, they're like sitting really low down. I feel like I've gone through such a weight loss. I can't even explain it. I just feel so small, and like this is the second time I actually booked the surgery. This time I went with a different surgeon, and I am so happy I did, because the way this surgeon does it is a different way than I've ever heard of. So there's no draining tubes. They don't like remove your nipple. Just really happy right now. I'm so happy right now. I'm in such a good mood. Even though I'll get into the recovery has been a little bit rough, but I'm gonna split this video into parts. I'll leave timestamps below as usual. So yeah, let's get started. So starting into leading up on the surgery, I had my consult for my surgery on August 13th, and I got a call at the end of October to book my surgery, and then it was a month later. So by the time I got the call, I had a month of waiting, and then it took about 3 months to get that call. If you guys didn't know, I live in Toronto. In Toronto, it doesn't cost anything. It's free in all of Canada to get a breast reduction surgery, but as long as it's for back pain and as long as they take 50% of the weight, then it's covered by an Ontario, it's OHIP. So I actually didn't pay anything for the surgery. I had to pay like I think like $20 for some medication and stuff, but that was it. Once I went to the original consult in August, it took 3 months because they had to put my application in and get it approved from OHIP. And then when they called me in October and said they booked my surgery for the end of November, I was like in full on, as you guys saw, I was in full on at trying not to get sick mode. Like I was taking so many vitamins, eating healthy, like not going into work when I felt a little bit sick, just because I did not want to get the surgery canceled from having a cold, because if you have any cold or flu symptoms, they'll just send you home like on your surgery date. So I actually didn't watch any videos like this. I didn't look up anything because I just didn't want, I'm such a squeamish person. Like I'm really not good in medical situations. Like even going to my consult and having them draw out like what the surgery is, I almost fainted. Like I felt dizzy and I couldn't clench my fist. So even the fact that like I had to have surgery, like I couldn't even think about it because I would just not, like I'm not good with medical stuff, needles, anything. I didn't look up anything. I didn't want to have any expectations. I didn't want to hear any horror stories. Like I just wanted to go in full positivity, good vibes. I just wanted to talk to my nurses and my doctor, and like that was it. I just knew I'd freak out and get worried, so I just didn't do any of that. The night before my surgery, I wrote out a huge list of all the things that I'm like not gonna miss. So I wrote out like back pain, clothing, like all that stuff. Just, yeah, I don't know. I just didn't want to freak out. I didn't want to be nervous. So So yeah, that's what I did like leading up. I just really tried not to get sick, and then I just like kept a clear head, kept positivity, like just trying to think of all the things that I'm like so excited for and all that. So yeah. So the day of the surgery, so my surgery was on November 27th. Woke up, surgery was at 11 a.m. and I woke up feeling like very excited. I felt like literally like it was Christmas. Like I just felt very positive, very excited. I was trying just to not think about the fact that I'm gonna have to get like an IV and all that stuff, just because I have never gone under anesthesia and I just didn't want to think about it. So my surgery was at 11 a.m. and we had to be at the hospital at 9 a.m. My mom was actually in town. I'm from Vancouver and I live in Toronto. So my mom was actually in town already that week for work. So when I booked my surgery date, I knew she wouldn't be able to come just because she had a conference, but I didn't want to change the date. So I just left it knowing she wouldn't be able to come for the actual like hours of surgery, but I saw her right after. So it was just me and Storm, my boyfriend. It was just the two of us at the hospital. And yeah, so we woke up, got an Uber, went to the hospital for 9. So I wasn't supposed to eat anything from midnight on, and I wasn't allowed to wear any makeup. I just wore like sweatpants, one of Storm's like big plaid shirts, like a jacket. I brought a purse, I brought some like socks, some snacks for after, and like, I don't know, just random things. One thing I didn't bring was my surgery bra, which I will get into later, but that's pretty much the only thing that you need that I didn't bring, but it all worked out fine. So yeah, we arrived at the hospital, and by the way, I only took 3 days off of work just because my surgery was on Wednesday, and I'm just gonna work from home for a couple days next week. So I didn't need to take off weeks or anything, and I feel like I'm lucky because I can just work from home. So yeah, by the way, took off 3 days from work. So we got to the hospital at 9, and I went in, checked in. They gave me my wristband, and they asked me if I had any cold and flu symptoms. I said no. We went into this room, and you could see these TVs with like all of the surgeries for that day and all the surgeons, and I could see, you know, my name. I could see my number and my surgeon, and I could see that he was in the OR when we arrived and I was next. So everything happened like crazy fast. Just feeling really good. I cannot believe that I was like so chill, because I am not a very chill person. I feel like I don't know, I freak out in medical situations, and I know I do. So the fact that I was so calm and joking around and excited, like Storm and I were just so positive that whole day, and that whole morning we were just taking Instagram stories and Snapchats, and I don't know, it was just like a really good day. The whole day was just such a good day until after, which I'll get to, but yeah, it was just like a really good experience leading up. We were waiting in this room. There was a whole bunch of people there. Some people were in hospital gowns, some people weren't, some people's families were there. It was just like a ton of people. And I got my surgery done at a hospital, so not the actual plastic surgery clinic. The clinic is attached to the hospital, so I got it done. So there was like tons of people getting like all sorts of lovely surgeries, which you could hear people talking about in detail, which is great. I waited there for about half an hour, and someone called me up and they got me changed. I wore like the classic hospital gown, pants, and a robe, and I put my stuff in a locker, and then I went to go to the washroom, and when I got out of the washroom, Storm was standing right outside with a male nurse. That was it. The guy was like, "Are you ready to go?" And I was like, "Let's do this." I thought for some reason Storm could come with me. At that point, I didn't realize we were literally about to walk into the OR. So I was like, "Oh, can he come with?" And the guy was like, "No," because anyways, I just didn't realize what was about to happen. So I said bye to Storm, and then he took my phone and stuff. The whole day, he like texted my grandma, my dad, and my mom, my sister, like everybody. He was just updating my entire family the whole day, which was so nice. Like every step of the way, he was texting them, sending like photos of me and stuff. So I think that was just like really nice for them. He was just like an actual angel literally all day. So that was really nice, and I think just gave my family some like peace of mind. So I went with the nurse, said bye to Storm. We went through these 2 double doors, and at that point you're like in the OR section of the hospital. So he gave me this little like cap, you know, those little caps to wear, and just like walked on through. He wasn't talking to me at all. The guy was just walking ahead of me, and I was like, okay. He walked me to this really nice wing of the hospital. I'm not sure if that's just where the plastic surgeries are. I walked me to this long hallway, and one half of the hallway was like these huge like floor-to-ceiling windows, and the other half was all the ORs. And then next to the windows were all the beds, like all the rolly beds. He just like took me over and he's like, you can lay down here. I was like, sat down and looked out the window for a bit. It was raining, so I just watched the rain. And yeah, it was just like very relaxing. I felt very zen. I was honestly the only patient there, like in that entire wing, it felt like. All the ORs were empty. There was nurses like chatting, playing music. It was so peaceful. I was all by myself in that hallway for a bit, just like looking out the window. I couldn't really see anything because I didn't have my glasses on. But yeah, it was just like a very chill time. And then my plastic surgeon came up. He's super chill, and I think that really helped me a lot because he was joking around a ton. He was just like super funny. Like I said, they told me they were gonna take at least 50%. But I wanted them to take more than 50%, and they just told me to tell him like right before we went in for surgery. So the first thing I said when I saw him, I was like, hi, can you take more than 50% if that's possible? And he was just like, yeah, sure, whatever, we can take more. Like, we can take as much as we can, but without like ruining any of the muscles and tissues and things. I was like, perfect, like take as much as possible. The anesthesiologist came up. He was super nice. He was an older guy. He was just talking about my job. I was honestly the most worried about the IV. Like, I don't know why. I was just so worried about getting an IV. He gave me my IV. It took like 2 seconds and it was over. And then a nurse came over and she said, okay, we're gonna roll you into the OR. I was like, great, let's do this. Let's get this over with. Like at that point, all I wanted was to go to sleep and like wake up and its surgery's over. They rolled me in. I had to like get out of the bed and like hop up onto the table, and they strapped me in. They like put my arms out like this and strapped my arms in. I had music playing, and the nurse and the anesthesiologist and the surgeon were like all joking around. They're like, do you have any song requests? Like, we're gonna jam out. And like, I don't know, they were just very funny. And they showed me my consent form like I think 12,000 times. So they showed me my consent form so many times throughout the whole day. So as I was laying on the OR table, they said, again, here's your consent form. You're getting a breast reduction, both sides, like whatever. So before I knew it, the anesthesiologist, he's like, okay, you're gonna feel a little weird. The whole room felt like it was moving in slow motion. It was the weirdest feeling ever. He was like, okay, you're gonna go to sleep now and good night. And that was it. The mask over me, I don't remember anything. And then I woke up and the surgery was over. When I woke up, I was immediately very mentally like coherent. I don't know why I wasn't expecting that. I thought I'd be a lot more confused. And I remember immediately feeling incredible pain. I don't know if that's normal, but it was such a bad burning feeling. And I remember the nurses asked me, they're like, are you burning? And I was like, yeah. So basically how they do the cut, as this is like the only graphic part I'm really gonna get into, but they just do a cut around and down, and then they pull it from there, and then they pull from the top. So they're not actually like removing anything, if you know what I'm saying. They're just pulling from both sides. So where they cut, I felt so much burning, and they said that's super common in a breast reduction, like to feel burning. It only lasts like 2 hours. So I was in incredible pain. They rolled me into the first recovery room. So I actually was in this recovery room for a whole hour, and it felt like 5 minutes. I can't believe I was there for an hour, even though I was awake the whole time. So I woke up, they rolled me into this first recovery room, and you're just in with a whole bunch of people who have just woken up from surgery. One guy was like trying to escape from his bed. I was like, I need to go. They gave me T3s through my IV. I felt no difference. They gave me hydromorphine through my IV. I felt no difference at all. And then they gave me fentanyl, and then I felt fine. I was on a lot of pain medication, and again, I hadn't eaten anything since like dinner the night before. All of that medication mixed with the anesthesia, I think, is why I had such a bad reaction, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But anyway, so they gave me all of that. I chilled out for another like 20 minutes, and then they rolled me into the second recovery room. That's when Storm came in. So the second recovery room was a lot more zen, and everyone was a little bit better. Everyone's families were there, and it wasn't super private, but I didn't really care. I wasn't even thinking about it. At this point, I was still feeling fine. Like, I couldn't believe how mentally coherent I was and like how fine I felt. I just felt normal. I had a little bit of burning, but like I didn't feel sick or like throwing up, dizzy, like nothing. I was just like chilling out. And I remember a storm came in and I was just like joking around, like taking photos, whatever. Yeah, they were literally just gonna send me home because I was totally fine. Storm went to get my prescription. That's when my first like aversion, I think, to the medication and the anesthesia happened. It was like all of a sudden, like I was totally fine, and then all of a sudden I was just like, I have never felt so like unwell in my whole life. I couldn't talk and I couldn't see anything. I was just seeing stars. I felt like I was fainting, like super dizzy, and like I'm gonna throw up. That lasted like 4 or 5 minutes, and then I woke up for a minute and I was totally fine again, like joking around, chatting, felt not sick, not dizzy, totally fine. And then about an hour later, that same little episode thing happened again. I was fine again for another hour, and at that point it was like 5:30 p.m. I was supposed to leave around like 2 or 3 p.m., but they kept me because I kept having those weird reactions. 5 p.m. the nurse was like, okay, you seem fine now. We can call your Uber, like we can get you guys home now. So this is where the fainting started. So we called our Uber, I was fine. The nurse was like super awesome. All the staff were the best. Like they were all so funny, so chill, very like relaxed. And yeah, the nurse like got me in a wheelchair, wheeled me out of my bed, like everything was fine. We got in our Uber and I was fine pretty much the whole Uber ride home. I wasn't getting those waves of nausea until about like we were 5 minutes from home, maybe 10 minutes from home, and I was like, oh my god, it's happening again. Like it was fine, I didn't throw up. We got to our apartment. The Uber driver was so nice. He was like, I hope you feel better. I'm like, whatever. At this point I couldn't even speak. I was like, I'm gonna pass out. Get to our apartment building. I could barely walk. Like Storm was pretty much carrying me into the apartment building. I don't know why I didn't listen to him. He's like, let's sit and relax for a second before we get into the elevator. At that point, I felt so close to home. I'm like, I just wanna get into clean pajamas and lay on my couch like I'm actually fine. Get into the elevator and I fainted in the elevator. So there were a whole bunch of people in the elevator, and one of the guys was like, we should call someone. Like everyone was just freaking out. I honestly don't remember. By the way, I had never fainted in my entire life until this day. Storm helped me out, and I got up and we started walking to our apartment, like just down the hall, and I fainted again. I think this was definitely because my blood pressure was super low from not eating for like a whole 24 hours. The medication, like just everything. I don't think it was from the anesthesia. I think it was just because I hadn't eaten and I had all this medication on an empty stomach, so that's why I was fainting. Fainted again, and I kind of remember this one. I just remember laying in our apartment building like hallway, and Storm was like holding my legs up. Like he kind of knows what he's doing with medical stuff, so he was just like, immediately when he lifted my legs, I like came to. So yeah, then I woke up, then we got into our apartment building. My mom came over, like I was feeling normal again, which was so weird. Like that was so weird about the recovery, was like I was totally normal, and then there was like a couple minutes, like in total it was like 20 minutes of the whole day that I would have either the fainting or the weird like episodes. But other than that, I was totally fine. So we got into our apartment. I laid on my couch. My mom came over. I was like chatting. I was not in pain. Like I was totally fine. So the hospital gave me hydromorphine, which is kind of like a morphine. I ended up just taking it once the night before we went. The first night I took it before bed, and then I took it once in the middle of the night. So the first night was okay. You have to sleep elevated. So I was like, had all these pillows like super elevated, but I think the morphine was like helping me sleep. So woke up around 4 a.m., took another one, and then I woke up at like 7, and I had to get up and go to the washroom. So I got up, and as I was going to the washroom, I fainted again. I had already eaten like the night before. I fainted again. Storm ran in. Like I don't know. I was really lucky because I only hit my hand on the bathroom sink. Like that was it, which it could have been so much worse. I guess today is day 4. For the last 3 days, I have not fainted again since that first time in the morning. I've just felt like very fragile and extremely nauseous. Those have been the side effects. Like I went off the hydromorphine when I fainted the last time, and since then I haven't felt dizzy. So I don't know if that was why I was fainting. I'm not really sure. My experience, the pain has not been bad, and that is crazy to me. I took Tylenol the second day, and then since 2 days ago I haven't taken any painkillers at all. Nothing, like not even one Tylenol. Like I just haven't been in pain at all. So yeah, it's actually crazy to me that the pain is not so bad, because if I wasn't feeling so like weak and nauseous, I would feel totally fine. I just thought I would be in a lot of pain, but I didn't expect the nausea, the fainting, and the dizziness as side effects for some reason. I think I was just being a little too optimistic. The first 48 hours they told me would be the worst, and they were the worst. I was taking Tylenol for the first 48 hours because of the pain. It was just like a bit burning, and I was super nauseous, and Storm pretty much had to help me like get up, walk around. Like my mom and my sister were here too, but they obviously like stayed in the Airbnb and went to bed. So like the night is the hardest time. Every time I went to the bathroom, I woke him up, he kind of helped me, and like he's just been like I was that weak where like I could barely walk because I don't know, I just was super dizzy and very like just fragile. So the first 2 days were the hardest, and yeah, the first 48 hours, once they passed by, I was okay. I remember texting my friends just being like, I feel so sick. Like I just was so like, just felt disgusting, and just the dizziness and the nausea and everything, it was just like horrible feeling. That was like only for the first 2 days though, and since day 3, I'm on day 4 now, like I have felt pretty much fine. I've had definitely waves of nausea. I say I'm fine, but like until today, there's no way I could have like gotten dressed and brushed my teeth and gone outside. Like I was that weak. I've also had no appetite whatsoever, which I think is not helping the nausea and the weak feeling. So I've been like forcing myself to eat carrots and veggies and fruit and crackers and ginger ale and things, just like light snacking throughout the whole day. I'm trying to get all my calories in, but I just thinking about eating has made me feel like throwing up. That's basically the main side effects, were the dizziness, the nausea, feeling weak, and having no appetite. In terms of my chest, they said when I woke up, the first thing I did was like grab my chest. I think like throughout my whole university, I've always had a very large chest. I'm so happy with it though. Like it is the weirdest feeling. I feel like I've gone through such a major weight loss just because I look so much smaller. It's like the weirdest feeling ever. I don't know, it's just like such a weird feeling. I think they took off about 70%. I'm going for my post-op appointment on Thursday, and I'm excited to see like how much it weighs and everything, because I do weigh it and I want them to tell me how much it weighed. So I did weigh myself the morning of. I need to weigh myself again, but I just haven't had the energy. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I think I pretty much covered everything. This video was so long, so I'm gonna try to edit it down as much as possible. So if you guys have made it all the way through, that's pretty much my like 4-day update. I'm feeling a lot better today. Tomorrow is Sunday. I think I'm just gonna be feeling a lot better. Every day has been better. The first 48 hours were definitely the worst. And yeah, I'm feeling a lot better now. That's pretty much everything I wanted to say. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and stay tuned for more videos. I'm gonna be posting a lot more because it's December, so stay tuned for more videos. And I'm gonna be doing a big haul. I'm sure I've already bought a ton of stuff for like my surgery with my new chest. So stay tuned for more haul videos, more vlogs and everything. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Okay, bye.